Here we don't have enough time. That's too bad, because like the guy before, Pascal, he made everybody like jump 10 times, and I wanted to do a little dance with you, so we don't have time with it. But what you can do is say hi to your neighbors and just turn around, and maybe you see somebody who you didn't know before. And yeah, it's all about connecting and be friendly to each other. Okay, these are Nina and Maya. They studied political science and marketing, actually, and quit their job last summer to code full-time and work on an open-source project called Spree. Hi, I'm Annika. I'm from Berlin, and I'm going to tell you why this is such a big deal and how they did it. Yeah, that's me. And as you can see, Konstantin in the background. That's my Twitter handle, Langtior, and we work together at Travis CI, which some of you might know. I do have some stickers, so come find me afterwards. And yeah, you know, Travis tests your code and helps you deploy it. But one of the reasons I love them the most is because they've been always rooted in the open source community, and they've been a supporter of Rails Girls from the very first minute. And also last year, we launched Travis Foundation. It's quite new. It's just a tiny little baby now, but it's a wonderful project, and I run it. And we want to support inspirational projects and ideas, and we think that we think are valuable to our community. So for that, we organize open source grants. We organized Rails Girls Summer of Code, and we wanted to foster diversity in tech. We want to connect people to ideas and build resources that help us all make open source even better. So we're always looking on working together with other people and wonderful initiative. So let's talk a bit about making stuff better, women in tech. Yeah, I could be talking, or I am talking about like all technical fields, but today I'm especially focusing on informatics, and this is a talk about women. It could be also about other underrepresented minorities in tech. There are like trans people or LGBT people, people of color, people with disabilities, etc. But today I'm going to focus on women because that's where I'm the expert at. So let's look at this. Let's pretend these are some students, or actually these are all students of informatics from the TU in Vienna, and there you have the women. That's actually the first semester, so after 1 or 2 semesters we have some dropouts, and the higher we go on the career ladder, the fewer it will be. So people often ask me, yeah, well, how did we get here? Why is it that we have so few women in tech? Well, that's a really hard question to answer, but let's try it and look at the roots of it. You probably all heard like this: women are just not that good in technical stuff. They're just not that interested in technical fields. And that's probably the fiercest thing that stands in between women and tech, and even girls getting interested in tech, because, well, women are not like interested in tech. That's just like that. That's the stereotype. But where did it come from? Because today, we know that it's not true, right? Today, women are studying, voting. We all know that we can do math and even parks, so we can do everything. But why is there still this stereotype? Because not that long ago, this was different. Like in the 1900s, scientists argued with thermodynamics that women shouldn't be allowed to study, or some other like really crazy stories. We have some history of trying to prove that women are just not capable of doing this or that. But the funny thing is that the this or that actually changes. Even the stereotypes we have today isn't super old. Like take color, for example. Pink is for girls, right? well, but this little guy, this proud little guy, would disagree. Actually, in the 19th century, pink was considered a very masculine color, also the dress. So the stereotype of women we have today is different than it was years ago. But what has not changed is that there's always some role we have to fit, something we need to do or not to do, something we're restricted, and we're restricted to specific areas that applies to men and women. And what this actually looks like depends on different influences. So today we know probably that there are no such thing as gender-specific abilities we're just born with, but it's been a long way until now, and change takes some time. So, and there are so many reasons that hold up these overcome pictures and images of women, and that hold up these barriers that have been growing ever since. So it's been a long way, and we can't just remove them like this. So here are some examples for factors that are reproducing barriers between women and tech, and with many, many, many other small and big factors that interlock and reproduce all the stereos all over. And so it's a big machine that consists of very tiny mechanisms. And how can we get out of here? What do we want to do? We actually want to change these mechanisms that are responsible for putting up barriers. How? I don't know. It's really, it looks bad. So, but let's just start. So we can do a lot with the can-do attitude and the right tools, and let's see where to begin. Actually, since we have so many of these mechanisms that interlock, we have so many reasons for fewer women in tech that we have to apply our changes to different levels, to more than one level, and these are examples where we could actually begin. Take for example, daily life, what can we do? Easy, talking. It's easy, right? Just talking about what you do, why you love what you do, and why you fell in love with programming, engineering, math, or whatever you do. Tell stories about yourself so that others can actually relate and understand. Take, for example, your granny and show her the internet, even or especially if she's like my grandma and convinced that it's evil and can look into your soul. So, but maybe she's not that quite far away. So, just make others understand what you do, and you'll inspire someone and share the love for tech by just talking. Talking in general is a super strong weapon or tool we can use. Like language makes things. And we can make things visible with our way of speaking about stuff. Like this especially applies for German. If we start not only talking about the female version of the programmer, der Programmierer, but also include the female one, which is just one other word to just put there, die Programmiererin. So we always say not only der Programmierer, but die Programmiererin. Or if we are talking about a lot of a whole group, be sure to mention the female version. And in English makes it a little bit easier, but if you're talking German, just keep that in mind, and you can actually make other people visible. So with only talking, and that's not a hard thing to do. So what we can do is actually make others visible. We can do this by talking about tech, talking about women, talking to women, approaching them, and support them to be active, inspire others. But this doesn't, that's not enough, because we need another part. We need to make ourselves visible. Like me, I need to make an effort, and these sides depend on each other. So I can connect to others. I need to connect to other women in tech. I need to reach out. It's always easier and more fun with a friend or friends, and I should attend like workshops. I should get off my couch more often and go to user groups and meetups, dinners, and take part. I can actually make myself visible in attending stuff. So also applying, like this is super hard and scary, but I should do it. And if a friend of mine is organizing a conference, well, even better. So these are really important things that we can do, because I can try to make myself more active, but I also need the support of others who want to help me, and vice versa. So what else? Take example of family. which is probably a lot about raising kids. And we get a lot of comments, like our kids get a lot of comments like, well, real boys don't cry, or I don't know, just look pretty to a girl. So, but what we can do actually is raise our kids to our best knowledge and give them the tools to overcome these stereotypes, inspire and engage them. Kids are naturally engineers and explorers. So we should encourage that for girls and for boys. So I have a little brother, and when we were little, my parents tried to treat us as equal as possible, because if they didn't, the other one would scream bloody murder. So we didn't not only get to wear the same super hip clothes, and we were awesome at dancing, let's face it, but also every Christmas we got one present for both of us. So I got to play with a pirate ship, a race car track, and computer games. And today we have like wonderful inventions like Goldie Blocks that actually aims at girls. It's a toy that makes you invent stuff and try something out instead of just brushing Barbie's hair. We also have this, you probably heard about it, Hello Ruby. It's a project of Linda Lucas, who started Rails Girls. It's a programming book for children. To sum up, what we can do is to help our kids to inspire them with stories and give them opportunities to develop whatever interests they want. We should support discussion and talk to them, raise them to be curious and share our childhood stories and our interests. When we think something is cool, our kids will do as well. And there are probably so much things we could do. There's probably an exhaustive list in a really smart book what we can do. But what I would be aiming for my future children would not to deny them access to any field and make them question stuff, so that they don't take things for granted, and that they are inspired by change and not afraid of it. So let's have a look at some other levels like kindergarten, school, university, and the job level. There are probably a lot of things that can happen there, but what matters most to me and what I found can be super inspiring are workshops. And we have a lot of workshops and projects. Some are especially designed for kids. Some are aiming at women. Workshops are a great opportunity to do stuff, to try it out, to fall in love with technology. And this list are only examples. I'm going to publish later on a list with a little bit of more links and resources. And if you have something you want to share, just give me, so we can share this all together. So what can you do with workshops? You can organize them, of course, just one of yourself there. You can have just a spin-off of an already existing one, like Rails Girls or Rails Brit, or you just think of something that you would like or you would have liked when you were a beginner. So pull it together with all your friends and colleagues, or attend one. Look it up. I'm sure that there are a lot of workshops around you. And attending one was for me the first step to now standing here. So what else can you do is coach at a workshop and inspire some people with your knowledge. It's so wonderful to always talk to coaches after Rails Girls workshops, and they're all like really, really happy that they could share their knowledge and talk to somebody about what they love. So just be nice, be passionate, and everybody will love you, and you can share a lot. And like I said before, talking about stuff is one of the most powerful things we can do. It's telling your female friend, your daughter, or your friend's kid about these workshops, about your story, and give them a chance to discover this wonderful community. And there I said it, the magic words begin. Where to begin? We can actually begin to share, so that we can start changing the world step by step, word by word. So let's turn some things around. So I'm going to take my own advice, and I'm going to share something with you, my story, the story of my summer last year. And it's a story full of adventure, role models, chocolate, and Coke. So it starts here, Rails Girls. Rails Girls offers programming workshops for beginners, for women, and it's aiming for women. It's not restricted to, but aiming. And it's been a huge success story since it began in Finland, I think 2.5 years ago. It's all over the world, from Vienna to New York to Hong Kong to Taipei. It's everywhere. And after one of these beginner workshops where I actually attended, and we started to build our own little web app, I was so kind of happy, exhausted, frustrated, overwhelmed, and totally hooked. So that's when I started Rails Girls Berlin with a friend. And we wanted to actually keep on coding after these beginners workshop and keep on coding together. So in a group, it's always better because you have always somebody's shoulder to cry on, and you increase your chance of somebody bringing chocolate, and that helps a lot with any mirror message. So in Berlin we have follow-up workshops, weekly study groups, which led to a really, really strong Rails Girls community. And exactly 1 year ago we thought about what are further steps we can take. What are further steps to get women into code, into the open source community? And did you know that open source actually looks like this? If we pretend these are all the people contributing to open source, there we have the women. It's 1.4 around-ish %, so that's very little. So last year, at a meeting with coaches and organizers of Rails Girls Berlin, we got the idea of a Rails Girls Summer of Code. And the idea was to focus on learning by doing, have Rails Girls students work on open source projects. So we wanted to create sponsored scholarships for them, which would be 3 months full-time and paid. The concept was to always have 2 students pair up because, well, 2 is always better than 1. And these teams would choose a project, find a coach, a mentor, and apply. And with this whole initiative, we would not only contribute to open source, but it's a hands-on initiative to work towards more diversity in tech. And after Sven Fuchs gave a lightning talk last year, a whole organizing team formed and started to work. And what do you need when you want to have scholarships? First thing you need is money. So we started to spread the word and talk to a lot of people rooted in the community. And our goal was to support 5 teams that would have been 10 students, $50,000. And after we started our crowdfunding campaign, after 2 weeks, we got this, which is a huge pile of amount of money. And we couldn't have done it with community heroes like SoundCloud, 37 Signals, Google Open Source, GitHub, till then, of course, Travis CI, who took me on board to actually organize this whole thing. With this huge amount of money, we could support 19 students. That's 9 more than we'd hoped for. And we had these wonderful teams, and that's not even all, because we had even volunteering teams who didn't get a sponsor seat, but said, nah, I want to code this summer no matter what. So this is really inspiring. And it officially started 1st of July. And until then, the students had been working on projects like Hackety-Hack, like Rails, like Sinatra, Bundler, or Diaspora, to only name a few. And this whole thing was only possible because some fantastic people put big chunks of their free time into this. They helped us coach, mentor, blog, create everything from a website to support net of coaches. So thanks to those people and many, many more, we were able to pull this off. And like those organizing people, our students came from all over the world and from different backgrounds. So we have people coming from Colombia, from US, from Poland, India, the Netherlands, and they are all from different fields. That's what I find, for me, is the most interesting part, because we had freelance movie directors, we had photographers, people who study human-computer interaction, French philology, or worked in marketing, but they all shared the same summer, the summer of open source and code. And these are some of the teams. And we now had a full-grown project that actually takes the Rails Girls movement to the next level. Not only can you now fall in love with programming at a beginner's workshop and keep on coding together, but you can keep on learning towards a goal. And that's an opportunity for beginners who want more. You can start learning and prepare for every year's, like next year's Rails Girls Summer of Code. And it's not only an important learner's goal and an opportunity to change your life, but a serious step towards more diversity. And for me, it's been exhilarating to see each day how new things are being created. And we started to change the scene daily in tiny but determined steps. So for me, it's still kind of not real, and it's still a little bit fuzzy with all the experience, because it was such an unusual experience and thing that we started there. And I'm so happy to be part of this movement, and everybody in here can be. It's been a huge step for our students and an even bigger one for our community. So it seems that if you put your whole heart into something, you can manage unbelievable things. And yeah, this whole Race Girls Summer of Code last year got created in under 2 months, and this year we're going to do it again because it was such a success. We had 33 students work in open source, and we sent many of them to conferences all over the world, and there they shared their stories of their summer. And I've just met them, or some of them, a week before, and it's amazing what they've done with this opportunity. I think almost all of them got an internship. We have somebody working at SoundCloud or at Amazon Opsworks. Some are even working already as junior developers or thinking of starting their own company. So this is like a really, really huge success for us. And it's wonderful to see them get even deeper into programming and further into the community. And that's why we want to build this tradition. And for this, we need people. We need people who join us as mentors and coaches, as students, as sponsors, or people who just send us cat gifts. So this could be you. You could be part of this. And for the next 1.5 minutes, we're going to see how this whole experience looked for 2 of our students who worked on the open source project Species. They made this little video. Yeah, so this quite sums it up. What was the spirit of Race Girls Summer of Code? But if you remember, the title of my talk was something like this: How to Get More Women in Tech in 5 Steps. Here's the secret. I'm sorry. But I think we all saw that there's not 5, there's probably 100 that we can take. It's talking to people, it's starting a workshop, it's coaching, it's submitting your talk, it's actually showing up and talking to a room full of people, even though you're pretty scared. It's talking your daughter to Girls' Day, it's not buying her that pink Barbie, or maybe also something else. It's telling somebody about Race Girls Summer of Code. It's talk to each other about your own experiences. So it's not 5, it's probably 100. But then again, there actually, and here comes the super good news, there actually is only one step that really matters. It's the first one. Thank you.